Hello, space pilot Mr. Cool Guy here. And, well, it's just about to be that time of year tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Well, for all of you on Earth, Thanksgiving. The holiday where you have a big meal with close friends and family. You know, a way to celebrate the holiday. But don't forget your fellow neighbor or someone out on the street, because there are people who are going to be spending Thanksgiving alone for one reason or another, right? Whether that be because of, you know, family separation or finances or some other reason. You know, so if you're able to reach out, lend some help. Maybe invite them over to have a nice meal with you. You know. But, anyways, it's time for 10 more random facts you may or may not know. Starting with fact number 1. Radiation guard. Green tree frogs living in Ukraine near the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, which exploded in 1986, have turned black to help combat the effects of radiation. Dark coloration is known to offer greater protection against radiation. That is crazy. I mean, usually when you hear of like radiation causing mutations or whatever, you think of like an extra limb or something like that. Something, you know, very unusual and potentially creepy looking. Right? You don't think of changed skin color. I mean, unless you think of like glow in the dark skin, right? But man, who knew? Dark coloration in the skin, of frogs at least, is known to offer greater protection against radiation. That is interesting. You know, it's sort of like with dark colored clothes and light colored clothes. Well, black and white colored clothes. You know, the lighter it is, the less heat it keeps in. The darker it is, the more heat it keeps in. Interesting. It's sort of like the opposite with radiation. Alrighty, let's move on to fact number 2. Blood brothers. Vampire bats will share a meal of blood with other bats in the same family or ones with which they have developed a close bond. Since the bats need to drink blood every 48 hours to survive, they will regurgitate their blood meal so that it can be divided among family and close friends. Okay. Well then, wow, that's, it really makes the stomach churn, don't it? Ugh. Um, I, I mean, it's, yeah, I mean, you gotta get the meal somehow. I mean, sort of like what mother birds do with their baby birds. They'll, you know, some birds feed their baby birds the food they ate, or whatever, right? So, yeah. It's just bats do it with, or vampire bats do it with blood. Um, yeah. Um, okay. It's one way to strengthen your familial bonds. Yeah, well, let's move on. Fact number 3. Blue flesh. The lingcod, a fish native to the west coast of North America, usually has white-hued flesh, but for reasons unknown, up to 1 in 4 specimens has bright blue flesh. That is interesting. That is crazy. The inside of its flesh, or at least up to 1 in 4 of this fish, has blue flesh. I mean, like, you take a look at the inside of us, our flesh, it's, pink-ish. It's not like white or blue. I mean, your tongue can turn blue or green or whatever color depending on a certain thing you eat. Icing or whatever. It can make your tongue change colors. But, yeah, that's just crazy. That means if the fish could turn itself inside out, it could blend in with the ocean. Potentially. But yeah, that's, wow. That is something. I wonder if blue flesh tastes sad. You know? Oh man. Alrighty. Let's move on to fact number 4. Bulletproof. An armadillo's shell is so hard it can deflect a bullet. A man in Texas discovered this when he tried to shoot an armadillo, only for the bullet to bounce off the shell and hit the man in the face. Although he was wounded and airlifted to the hospital, he survived. That is crazy. But, why? Why'd you try and shoot the armadillo? Like, I mean, it has a protective shell. I guess he thought it wasn't hard enough to withstand the bullet, right? But he learned very quickly what happens when you try and shoot an armadillo shell, right? Don't go shooting random things, right? Like, you could go get your gun license and have knowledge of how to use a gun, but that doesn't mean you're proficient in it. Because if you're gonna go hunting for something like an armadillo, how about you make sure the gun you're using is the right type of gun to use for hunting said creature. Then maybe you won't have to go to hospital because you shot yourself trying to kill an armadillo. But that is... Alright. Let's move on to fact number 5. House in the clouds. Appearing to float above the trees, the house in the clouds in Thorpeness, England, used to be a water tower. Some thought it was ugly, so builders turned the tower into a home. At 70 feet, or 21 meters high, visitors get amazing views. Inside are 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a drawing room, and a special room that belonged to a water tank. The house in the clouds was built in 1923 and is a protected building for its history of providing water to the local area. That's crazy. Well, I guess we know where Carl's house ended up. Carl Fredrickson. Yep, it must have gotten picked up by the wind at the falls, Paradise Falls, and got swept away to England. Oh man. Wow, that's crazy. Oh man. 70-foot high house. Could you imagine living in a 70-foot high house? Good thing it isn't a wide house, because that would be a lot to clean. A lot. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. Man. Alright, let's move on to fact number 6. Block's balloons. Dan Block will blow you away with his unique style of creating balloon animals. The Austin, Texas performer starts by threading the balloon into his nostril through his sinus cavity and out of his mouth. Then he places an air pump in his nose, of course he does, and inflates the balloon. At this point, Dan knots and twists the elastic tube into that classic balloon dog shape, with its head coming out of Dan's nose and the body out of his mouth. I shouldn't have to tell you guys this, but, unfortunately, I have to. Do not try this at home. This man is a professional, but even though he's a professional, it could still go very wrong. So do not try it. Okay, just don't. I gave you my warning. Whether or not you heed it, it's I mean, if you don't, something happens, it's on you. But I told you, do not try it at home. So don't. But anyways, why? Why would you do that? I don't even know how that's even possible. How would you manage to do that? Right? Because what? And then you stuck a balloon pump up your nose. Right, it's impressive, yeah, sure, but why? Why would you want to do that? Oh boy. Alrighty. Let's move on to fact number 7. Reach for the sky. The Australian peacock spider is crawling with colors. The peacock spider is covered in a fluorescent fuzz that gives off bright hues. The spider is known for its mating dance. Males will raise 2 legs high into the air as a way to attract the attention of females. This spider is sure to catch the eye with its vibrant colors and dance moves. That is... man, that is crazy. Or maybe not crazy, but it's quite interesting. I mean, seems this spider knows how to get down and boogie. Man. That is... that is interesting. Though. That is... wow. I mean, shoo, man. Makes you wonder where it learned to dance, though. Maybe, perhaps, the spider teaches the younglings how to dance. The male ones. Right? Teaches the mating dance. Right? Oh, man. It's dancing like no one's watching. Oh, man. Alrighty. Let's move on to fact number 8. Nano nest. The nest of the vervain hummingbird, which lives in Hispaniola and Jamaica, measures only 0.75 inches or 1.8 centimeters wide and 1.2 inches or 3 centimeters deep, about half the size of a walnut shell. The bird typically lays 2 eggs each, around 0.39 inches or 1 centimeter long. That is quite a small nest. That is crazy. Man, I mean, you know birds can be small when they're first born, but this is a fully grown bird. Man, you know, if the nest is that small, I wonder if any of the vervain hummingbirds has ever made a nest inside a walnut shell. Wouldn't that be something? Man, that's... sheesh. That shows you gotta be careful. Because not all birds are at, you know, a big height. Not all birds are like the size of a cardinal or an eagle. Nope. Some birds grow to adult size and are quite small. But now, let's move on to fact number 9. Generous gift. Rhesus macaque monkeys own 32 acres or 13 hectares of land in the village of Upla in India's Maharashtra state. The villagers admire the local population of around 100 monkeys so much that they registered the farmland in the animal's name. That is crazy. To think that a monkey species is admired so much, you're willing to give it farmland in their name. I mean, I guess Curious George owns farmland now. Now he can become the first ever monkey farmer. Oh, man. Let's be honest, this farmland would probably be nothing but bananas. Certainly, that idea is certainly bananas. Oh, man. Alright. Let's move on to fact number 10. Spider boom. around 50,000 species of spider have already been discovered, and experts believe that in less than 100 years, another 50,000 spider species will be identified. That is wild, right? 50,000 species. And then in 100 years, another 50,000 species could be identified. That's 100,000 different spider species. That's a lot, right? Yeah. It's a good thing that they didn't decide to, team up and invade a country or something. Because that would be a whole lot of spiders, right? Even if you didn't include the huntsman spiders, which are large spiders. Like large enough to eat possums. Large. That would still be way too many spiders. That's no thank you. But on the plus side, if they all did team up and localize themselves, right, you could just sweep a large flamethrower across and just burn all the spiders at once. Boom. Invasion stopped and spiders no more. And of course there's the issue of, well, wouldn't the other bugs suddenly start overpopulating because there aren't spiders to help control the population of other bugs? Well, we'll find a way to deal with them too. You know? But, yeah, we don't have to worry about that happening. Because, not all spiders get along. Some spiders, I'm sure, eat each other. So, yeah. But, anyways, that was 10 random facts you may or may not have known, but you know now. Were there any that you knew? If so, let me know down below, Joe. If you have any additional information on the facts you feel like sharing, well, you can put that down below too. If you find it interesting, because other people might find it interesting too, even me. And if you don't know what to say and just feel like saying hi, or in this case, Happy Thanksgiving, well, hi, Happy Thanksgiving. If you enjoyed, leave a like. And if you don't want to have to go searching for me every time, because let's be honest, who does? Why not subscribe? It'll make it easier to find me. And if you hit that notification bell, you won't have to wonder when you get to hear a new batch of 10 random facts. It'll tell you the very second. So you know, hey, there's a new batch of 10 random facts you can learn about. And they'll potentially be interesting. Because more often than not they are. And share this with others so they get the chance to hear the 10 random facts that you found to be so interesting. Anyways, I'm Space Pilot Mr. Cool Guy, and as I always say, my fellow randoms, to infinity and more facts